I'm Davito Daveeni. Our destination today is the Ukraine to explore and conquer the historic city of Kiev on a $20 a day budget.
The capital of the Ukraine is this magnificent European city of Kiev, located in the north-central part of the country on the Dnieper River. This is one of the oldest cities in Eastern Europe, dating back 1,400 years, with its name originating from one of the founding fathers. Kiev is rich in culture and history. It's famous for historical landmarks, fabulous architecture, monasteries, parks, stadiums, outdoor concerts, and events. More than 1 million foreigners continue to visit this friendly city each year, relaxing and enjoying the restaurants, shopping malls, and historic scenery. Kiev was almost completely destroyed in World War II, but recovered itself quickly to become the third most important city of the Soviet Union. The country regained its independence in 1991 after breaking its ties with the Soviet Union. An approximate 2.8 million residents occupied this area. A highly developed system of public transportation is embedded with the city, accommodating around 1.5 million passengers per day. Russian is a common language spoken throughout the city, while Ukraine still remains the country's official language. Our exploration now begins in the southeast center of Kiev on the banks of the Dnieper River.
I'm standing before the monument of the founders of Kiev. This is located on the Dnieper River. It symbolizes the capital of the Ukraine.
These three legendary brothers, with their sister, founded the medieval city of Kiev back around the 6th century. Scholars consider them as a myth and merely an urban legend, even though archaeologists uncovered settlements around that area. You can easily get here on foot from the Metro Bridge station or stroll down the hill on a pleasant day. Next up, the hill of Lavraska Street. We reach one of the biggest landmarks.
We are on a walking path to the most visible symbol of Soviet era, the Mother of Motherland, Rodina Mать. The huge stainless steel statue reaches 100 meters into the sky, with a war museum below. Through the museum, you're able to climb into the head and see the eastern Kiev suburbs. The statue is visible through most parts of the city and shouldn't be missed.
Next stop is 3/4 of a mile north on Lavraska Street.
This is the entrance to Ukraine's most holy wonder, Kiev Pechersk Lavra, built by monks dating back to 1051. It holds a vast collection of museum relics, cathedrals, caves, which serve as the burial grounds for the ancient mummified monks. Worshippers from all parts of the globe come here each year for healing and spiritual guidance.
The eerie catacombs in the Lavra take you on a path to the remains of the ancient priests lying in their uncovered coffins. According to legend, the entombed priests were perfectly preserved because they had drank a secret potion prior to their death. We again continue north about 1/3 of a mile on Lavraska Street.
The Holodomor Memorial was dedicated by President Yushchenko. It's for the 4 million people who became victims and died from famine. It dates back from 1932 to 1933 and was caused by Stalin's ideas and policies.
Behind the angels, a child embraces a few grains of wheat, while an eternal 30-meter-high candle monument referred to as the Candle of Memory connects the present with the past millions of lost souls.
This is Park of Вечной Славы, with its eternal flame dedicated to the soldiers who gave their lives in World War II. The eternal flame lies at the base of 27-meter-high obelisk, which is dedicated to eternal glory. Also, you can see here the monument to unknown soldier.
It's difficult to estimate how many Ukrainians lost their lives in the war because at the time it was part of the Soviet Union. But overall, about 28 million Soviets perished to help end the evil and tyranny of the Germans. Also here in memory is Ivan Koshidev, a hero combat pilot with the most kills. Continuing on the main road about 1/2 mile north, we reach the beginning of Marienski Park. This park was created in 1874 by the wishes of the king's wife, Empress Maria Alexandrova. It's filled with Soviet war hero monuments and traditional style fountains. There's also spectacular views of the river and the city. And here, Marienski Palace, the imperial home built by royalty for Empress Elizaveta Petrovna in 1752. At present day, the palace is not open to the public for tours. It is used as the president's palace for state events, receptions, and meetings by government officials. Next stop, about 1/3 of a mile north on the main road, is the Ukrainian National Art Museum, built in 1898 to store a vast historical art collection. Preceding the entrance stands the political activist. On the opposite side, 1/3 of a mile up, we enter Kresheti Park.
Another interesting place to visit at the end of Kresheti Street is the Kiev Arch of Friendship. This represents the friendly relationship between Ukraine and Russia. It was built in the 80s.
A Russian and Ukrainian worker proudly hold up the Soviet Order of Friendship of Peoples Medal, and adjacent in granite the participants from the 1654 alliance, which resulted in the loss of independence when Ukraine merged with the Russians. Looking north, on the opposite side of the arc over the Kiev skyline stands Prince Vladimir the Great. The Grand Prince of Kiev from 980 expanded the borders and turned Kiev into one of the most powerful states of Eastern Europe. After converting to Christianity, he destroyed the pagan idols and adopted Christianity as the official religion for the country. He was referred to as the Holy, equal to the Apostles, Grand Prince of Kiev. Here, the panoramic views of the lower city are adored by all who visit. Great place to come and stroll during the day or evening. The monument was erected in 1853, towering 59 feet over the Dnieper River. From here, we continue on a paved trail leading us down the hill. It's a safe and easy descent to reach the walking or pedestrian bridge by the river.
Down below from the commemoration monument is the walking bridge. The walking bridge stretches over the Dnieper River.
From the 150 bridges in Kiev, the Parkovy Bridge, better known as the pedestrian or walking bridge, was constructed in 1957. The bridge is 1,312 feet in length and 22 feet wide with a height of 85 feet above the water. Locals enjoy spending a day fishing here, as the river is rich with a variety of freshwater fish. No motorized vehicles are allowed here, only people. From the bridge, we stroll northbound along the river and stop at one of the local Riverboat Tours. For about $5, we purchase a ticket for an hour boat tour of the city on the Dnieper River. There are awesome picture views of the skyline featuring the city's famous landmarks. What a great way to cool off on a warm day. Dnieper River is the largest in Ukraine and the third largest in Europe, around 1,400 miles long. In ancient times, it was the main route to gain access into the cities, and today it serves as a main shipping route. The short tour ride focuses primarily on the center of the city.
This city is filled with a variety of eateries, including popular franchise establishments like TGI Fridays or El Patio Pizzeria. But for the best values to maintain a $20 a day meal budget, I found several cafeterias like Pusada Hada or Dva Guza, the Two Geese on Kresheti Street. During the day, drove on Vladimirskaya Street next to the Zalota metro station Another favorite, Cafe Olive on Bogdana Street. No language problems or complex menus, this is a point and grab system. The large variety of food is made fresh daily and labeled in English for foreigners. Because everything is reasonably priced, you can select a multitude of delicacies from appetizers, soups, salads, local and European entrees, breads, desserts, and a choice of beers or soft drinks. On this day, from all the various items I selected, the entire check came out to $8 US. With 3 daily meals, it was not difficult to maintain my $20 a day meal budget. On the next day, near Yaroslav and Alesia Street, is the Bull and Jerry Artisan Bakery. The aroma of French breads and pastries begins to appetize the desire for breakfast. A nice selection for an early brunch or midday snack, from pastries to stuffed crepes and sandwiches. The total bill on this quick sandwich breakfast with beverages ran under $6 US.
Next, we head southwest about 1 mile away to the corner of Permogi and Verovskovo Street.
Victory Square is a dedication to the successful victory of World War II.
The obelisk towers 141 feet into the sky, lined with white marble and crowned by a gold star. Erected in 1982 in honor of its courage and heroism the city displayed in defeating the Germans.
Located at Victory Square is the National Circus of the Ukraine. There are weekly shows here that start at 7 p.m. and on weekends at 5 p.m. Tickets are very inexpensive and the show is fantastic.
More info may be obtained online or at one of the city's kiosks to a broad venue of events. From the square, Tarasa Shevchenko Boulevard runs for about 1.3 miles back to the start of the city's center. This busy street with a park in the center is lined with trees, making it a perfect place to stroll and also to admire the monuments and St. Vladimir Church along the way. Let's head up north a bit on Volodymyrskaya Street and the corner of Bogdana.
And now we've come to the National Opera House. Here you could stop in and buy tickets for an opera.
This place opened back in 1867 with opera and ballet performances. Next to the theater is a monument for Mykola Lysenko. He was the father of Ukrainian classical music. Tickets here are inexpensive and the interior decor and costumes are exquisite. Next block up on Volodymyrskaya Street is the entrance to the Golden Gate, or Zaloty Vorota metro station. This is a tour of its own, escalating us deep below the ground into the caves of the mechanical worms. 3 stations descend as much as 346 feet below ground and potentially double as bomb shelters. 1.4 million passengers rely on the service daily. Around 664 cars form 131 trains that spread over 3 city lines with 51 stations and 41 miles of tracks. Each station incorporates its own original design and personality. Medieval chandeliers hold candlelight bulbs. White marble columns embrace the vaulted arches. It's easy to use since they announce the stop in English as well as Ukrainian, and signs are also in English. A 25-cent token will allow you to stay on all day, but keep in mind it closes at midnight and reopens at 6 a.m. On the north side of the metro's second entrance is Zolota Vorotsky Passage. This leads to the Golden Gate exhibit, museum, and park.
This is the Golden Gate, known as Zoloty Vorota. This is a new building which holds inside the original gateway passage to the ancient city fortress, constructed in 1017. You can easily get here by taking the metro to the Zoloty Vorota station.
Here, the remaining remnants lie of the historic passage gateway to the old city fortress. As the southern gate, it was one of the 3 entrances built by Yaroslav, Grand Prince of Rus, known as Yaroslav the Wise. The gate's passage into the old walled city was about 40 feet high and 20 feet wide. The interior contains the original stone entrance, enclosed by the new construction to preserve the history. A small entrance fee allows you to climb the interior museum levels and view the stories and drawings of the old city fortress displayed on the walls. On the western side of the gates is a small sitting park with a monument to Prince Yaroslav gazing at a miniature replica of St. Sophia Cathedral. On the south park entrance is a monument to Pantusha, a beloved cat who died in a fire. Continuing north on Vladimir Street, we stop at Sofiska Square. To guide us, they recently added tourist guide maps near all the most popular landmark locations. These clearly identify in English and Ukrainian your current location, the street names, and which points of interest are nearby.
Saint Sophia Cathedral began in 1037 and took 2 decades to complete. Originally, the cathedral was a burial place for the Kiev rulers.
According to legend, Prince Yaroslav prayed to the Virgin Mary to help him win a difficult battle. In exchange, he built the cathedral in her honor. Gallivanting on his horse is a national hero for Ukrainian independence, Commanding Officer Bogdan Marienski. Further north, on Vladimir Passage, opposite to St. Sophia Cathedral, is the Metrograde Square, home of St. Michael's Golden Domed Monastery, and a monument dedicated to Princess Olga.
The Princess Olga monument is dedicated to the first female ruler of the country. Accompanying her are teachers Saint Cyril and Saint Methodius.
After her husband's death in 945, Princess Olga inherited the throne until her son would reach adulthood. Her achievements classified her as a saint by the Russian Orthodox Church.
The Church of St. Michael's was built in 1108 to 1113 by a prince. It was at the time the second largest medieval church in Kiev.
The Golden Dome Cathedral was built in honor of St. Michael the Archangel. In ancient times, it was a burial place for royalty. It's been rebuilt several times due to wars and by destruction of the Soviet government in the 1930s. You can visit the museum inside the bell tower and climb to the observation platform, where a new electronic clock chimes and a keyboard connected to a large set of bells plays classical compositions. From here, we walk a short distance north, past the Ministry of Affairs building to a famous street called Marienski Descent.
St. Andrew's Church was constructed in 1747. It's located on top of a steep hill, which offers amazing city views from the surrounding veranda.
This is one of the few buildings that have survived over the years without having been changed or reconstructed in any way. Now, it's open to the public as a historical museum for all to enjoy. It all began when St. Andrew first arrived. He erected a cross on this spot and prophesied this barely inhabited area would one day become a great city. And so his prediction came true as Kiev became the center of the Eastern Orthodox faith. The second most important and popular street in Kiev is Marienski Descent. This is a street museum, and on weekends it's an art gallery with musicians and a flea market for souvenirs, and everything else you can imagine.
I'm here at Marienski Descent. Marienski Descent is a famous historical street in Kiev. It took its name after St. Andrew. Nowadays, this beautiful street with ancient history is a perfect place to go for a stroll.
Marienski Descent, or Marienski Spusk, is located between two hills. Lined with souvenir stalls and peddlers, there's an abundance of artists displaying their work from paintings to jewelry, ornaments, figurines, also antiques, toys, Soviet memorabilia, and so much more. Probably the best place to shop while enjoying the day. This is a steep, cobblestoned, curvy, crooked street around a half-mile long. Since there are so many tourists that frequent here, the prices do get a bit inflated. Come with a poker face and practice your bargaining skills. Over time, the street grew more famous with the addition of the castle of Richard the Lionheart, the 18th century Baroque church, Russian author Mikhail Bulgakov's house, and a few other monuments. This is the shortest way down from the historic upper town to the lower part of the city. We follow the descent down to the oldest historic neighborhood in Kiev called Podil, or the Podilski District. Several centuries ago, this was the main shipping port receiving goods and pilgrims. It was populated by craftsmen, merchants, and fishermen. Today, in the center of the old town on Zagadashnaga Street, is a gallery of restaurants and shops.
Near the end of the strip is the Happy Chicken Grill Cafe and Bar. They serve Latin Mediterranean cuisine dishes prepared by a Spanish chef, a cozy interior and sports bar setting with outdoor dining as well. The picture menus are simple and easy for any visitor to read and understand. Their chicken soup is awesome, a perfect way to start. And with a local half a liter of beer, the chicken quesadilla seemed to disappear pretty quickly. The total bill came to $13.50, allowing me to stay within my daily meal budget.
Across the street, next block over, is the Funicular. For about 12 cents, this is a very convenient way to return to the upper city center. Since 1905, around 10 to 15,000 passengers ride it daily. It takes less than 5 minutes to reach the top. There's also a neighboring metro station, offering another option to return to the upper town center. As the sun rises to a new day, we begin with breakfast at a local cafe.
There are 3 of these locations in the center of town, and this one is located on Basena Street behind the Riverboat Market. For a quick breakfast, I grabbed a couple of crepes, Danish jam, and a beverage which came out to less than $4.
Next, we head 5 miles southwest from the center to Metrograde Street before Zahuliani Airport. Here is the State Aviation Museum, which began in 2003. A cemetery of planes, helicopters, missiles, bombs, and military fighters from different time periods. Technical data is posted before each exhibit in 2 languages. It's the country's largest aviation museum, preserving over 70 specimens to explore and wander about. For a small fee, you can even board and climb into the cockpit, but they won't let you start the engines. It's an amazing feeling to be able to walk underneath or stand so close to some of these humongous beasts. Some of the military aircraft have bullet holes from combat missions. Occasionally, the noise of the wind is broken by a neighboring plane leaving the airport. You can get here by taxi or taking the Green Line Metro to Sofiska Station, then hopping on the city bus number 220 to the last stop. It stops directly in front of the museum. This is a great way to spend a day relaxing and walking the grounds. Now we're walking 2 blocks south from the Olimska metro stop on Chernovo-Aminska Street to the Gothic creation known as St. Nicholas Roman Catholic Cathedral. After a 10-year construction, it opened in 1909. In 1980, it was restored and became the National House of Organ and Chamber Music of Ukraine, providing concerts only. Further north, on Tarasa Shevchenko Boulevard and Khreshchetyk Street, is the last remains of the Soviet Idol Monument. After the separation with the Soviets in 1991, all the Vladimir Lenin statues were destroyed except for this one. On the opposite side of the street, the beginning of the Khreshchetyk Street, is the Bessarabisky Rynok. It's an old indoor market dating back to as early as 1912. With 9,600 square feet of space, it's a grocery of produce ranging from dried fruits and nuts, also exotic fresh seafood, caviar, and a variety of smoked or dried fish as well. Here you can taste all the local and imported fruits and vegetables available throughout the year. There are also flowers, homemade cheeses, cakes, honey, and pickled vegetables. A great place to visit and see. There is no shortage of anything in this country. In front of the Rynok, on Khreshchetyk Street, is the Metrograde Underground Shopping Mall. This is the largest mall with 65,000 square feet of space and 23 entrances. The main street of the city is Khreshchetyk Street. It runs 3/4 of a mile east, ending at the park. This is where everyone congregates in all hours of the day. Here, beautiful ladies show off their latest fashions. After World War II, it was completely rebuilt in a typical post-war Stalinistic architecture. Along with the government buildings and banks are retail stores, cafes, and various food stands. Artists and performers commonly appear to entertain the visitors. Now it serves as the administrative and business center of the city. On weekends and holidays, the street is only open for pedestrians. About 1/3 of a mile from Khreshchetyk, southeast on Institutka Street, then right on Bankova Street, is the House of Kimeros. It sits across from the President of Ukraine's office and used for official and diplomatic ceremonies. Constructed in 1902 by architect Goretzky for his personal use, an Italian sculptor created the exotic animals and scenes depicting Goretzky's obsession for hunting. The name Kimeros is derived from the decorational style of applying animal figures to the elements of the building. Located on the corner of Shokovishna Street is the Chocolate House Museum. The only chocolate here is the color and style of the exterior resembling a chocolate bar. The mansion was built in the 1890s. In 2009, it was passed to the Kiev Museum of Russian Art. In the heart of the city's center, Kreshchatyk Street, lies the most important square, Independence Square. Towards the back of the square stands superhero Michael the Archangel, Defender of Kiev. Independence Square, also known as Maidan Nezalezhny, received its name in 1991 after a successful victory regaining the country's independence. An orchestra of fountains performs for people passing or lounging around enjoying the scenery. As the main place for concerts and events, it seems there is always something going on. Directly below the square is the Globus shopping mall with 2 levels of stores and cafes. Across the square, the Garden of Fountains continues to refresh and tantalize the spectators, while Goddess Bergania hovers at 164 feet in the sky protecting the nation. Accompanying the square is another monument to the founders of Kiev. There's an observation deck over the 3rd floor of the shopping center with panoramic views of the square. To the right lies the largest flower clock in all of Europe, made to honor the city's 18th anniversary of independence. As it turns, the day becomes the night. People come and gather to celebrate an evening's display of the city's ornament of light. Cafes, restaurants, and bars quickly gather visitors from near and far. People socialize and stroll along the famous Kreshchatyk Street, the city's heart and soul. Now I see why this city is one of the 7 wonders of the world. From the history, the landmarks, and monuments they have made, it's become a country that has achieved a great crusade.
I hope you've enjoyed this tour of Kiev. Join us again next time as we explore and conquer more amazing destinations.
Приїжджайте до нас, ми чекаємо завжди на вас. Тож приїжджайте, дорогенькі, і всі ваші родичі, хто там, передаю привіт. Приїжджайте всі. До побачення.